Hi everyone, and welcome to the next lesson in this series on Django fundamentals. Okay, so today will be the first day in our project, so this will be part one. So part one won't be so focused on Django so much. What we're basically going to focus on is just a little bit of styling today. So we're just going to style our HTML template. So as we can see here, it's not looking so great. We'll also remove a few things like the picture, do some editing. So it's pretty much going to be some Bootstrap and sort of like HTML restructuring today. Okay, and then of course, as we go on, we will get straight to the sort of the nitty-gritty. So just to give some background, we will be creating a task manager app. That is our goal. So that's what we're going to do. So first of all, let's start opening our templates. So let's see what we have. So we have index.html, mylogin.html, register.html, dashboard.html, and base.html. So of course, if you are new and you're watching this for the first time, just to give you some context, if you are a bit lost and not sure what to do, this is a series of videos. So everything is linked in the previous sort of set of videos on the channel. So you can just catch up and see where you're up to. So everything's organized perfectly in case you're wondering. If not, if you're quite the self-starter, then let's get straight to it. Okay. So we are going to style our page a little bit. So the first thing I want us to do is to, you could say, set up or install sort of like a Bootstrap sort of theme. And I'll show you how to do that, sort of an easy way of doing it. So if we go to Google, you can head over and type in bootswatch.com. So basically, this is a site where you can get free themes for Bootstrap, which is great. So if we scroll down here, you'll see there will be a lot of different themes that we can get. They all have their own name, which is pretty cool. So for example, like Cerulean, Cosmo, Cyborg, Journal, Fatly, Darkly, Lumen, Literia, Materia, the list goes on. Okay, so you can of course choose one that you like. Okay, I'm going to choose one that I like. And to do that, a simple way of doing it, don't hit download. You can just click here and right click and open this bootstrap.min.css in a new tab. So you just want to right click and say open link in new tab. And you'll see this code here. Okay, so just make sure you do that. So choose a theme that you like. Just click here on this down on this arrow here. Right click on bootstrap.min.css and open the link in a new tab. That's the easiest way of doing it. You can of course download it and add it as a CSS file. That's another way you can do it, but this is just the way that I prefer to do this. All right, great. So let's get to it. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to link this CSS, okay? So what we can do here is we can just scroll down here and we need to say link. So we can actually copy what we have here because we have a default CSS loaded here called styles.css. So I just want to close that. There we go. And here where we have this whole static line, we can actually take this out. Okay, and we can copy and paste this link here. Just copy that. And you can just paste it in. Okay. Now it's best to put this above so you override the CSS. So that's what I usually like to do. Just like that. And there's going to be a lot of things that we will have to configure. So it might not look right just yet. So just make sure you add that there. And if we go back, okay, we can see there is a slight update here. So things are looking a little bit better. So what we can do now is we can actually style a little bit more. Okay, so what I've taken the liberty here of just creating a file here. Okay. And with some code here that we're just going to copy and paste just to get some code right. Okay, so that will be the easiest way. So the first thing that we want to do is from here, I'm going to just take this. So this is a file that I have on my own. So I'm just going to take this. So of course you can look as I go. So this is going to be a lot of copy and pasting for this video. So here I'm just pretty much setting my viewport, my width device width here for content, and setting the char set to be UTF-8. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just remove everything here. So everything up to the base.html. So we can just remove all of that. Refresh. Okay, so now we just have, this is the best website on the planet. So something very simple. Now I'm going to work on it a bit more. So what we can do, if you scroll down here, you can see here I'm using a nav bar. So you're probably wondering, where on earth am I going to get a nav bar so detailed like this? So not to worry. So if you go to Google and you just say Bootstrap nav bar, you can just click on the first link you see. Oh, let me go back, I went too fast there. So nav bar Bootstrap. You can scroll down and make sure you choose a nav bar here that is responsive. So if you scroll down a little bit, let's see where we can find one that's not too bad. So you'll have to, yeah, so one that has responsive behaviors. So any of the following down here would be appropriate. So you're looking for something that will do this. You can simply just copy that and paste it here on your index.html if you'd like. But if you want to follow what I'm doing, then you're more than welcome to do that. So that's just so you're aware of where to get this, so you're not completely lost in the dark. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carry on adding here. So I'm going to copy and paste very slowly so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to now just copy my nav bar here. Okay, so of course it is assumed through these tutorials that you understand HTML and CSS. So I'm not going to be doing much explaining in this light. So if that's what you're wondering. Okay, so now I've just put in the nav bar here. Okay, you can put in, of course, the nav bar as well for your own. So I'm just going to replace this text here. I'm going to say taskly or to do. Yeah. Okay, so let's refresh and see what we have. Okay, so it's looking a bit cleaner now. I just want to remove everything here in base.html, so you can just take everything away or you can comment it out. That's what I'm going to do for now. So just comment out your base.html. Okay, so make sure you add a nav bar. So I'm just going to refresh. And there we go. So we have a little bit more now. So I'm going to change the name here actually to taskly. Okay, just like so. Perfect. Okay, let's go back. And I'm going to just show you slowly what I have here. So I just have a nav bar here, which I've just copied here. Okay, I have, of course, a brand here where I just put the name. I have a button. And here I have my div here, which I added some breakpoints. So I went ahead and created two list items here, one for register and one for login. As you can see, they both on the default, so there's not much going on right there. Okay, so you can just see what I'm doing here. I will slowly go through it, so you can see everything that's included here. So I'll go slowly for you, so you can see. So this nav bar is very simple, and eventually in the actual series, we're actually going to use base.html to reuse our navigation bar, so you can just see as it goes. Okay, perfect. Now we actually want to see if this is actually responsive. So if I refresh here, and I'm going to close this up. Okay, so that works, but we need to somehow make this usable. So we would need some JavaScript for that. So I have some code here to deal with that. So we would need some jQuery and this Bootstrap CDN Bootstrap here. So I will copy this here. And I'll put it down here. Put it down here. Okay, so for those of you that are struggling and are worried this is so much to copy down, not to worry. What I will do is I will make this code available for you so you can just download it. So technically with this video, all you need to do is just see basically what I'm doing, and I'll attach the code so you'll be able to just simply download it. I don't want to waste your time because this is going to take forever. Or you can just follow the general idea, whichever ways you prefer. Okay, now if we, now we can see it's more responsive now. So if we open the nav bar, we can now see login and register, which is great. Awesome. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit more. So I'm just going to copy this for the body. So let's take that. Okay, that will be in between. And all I have here, so this is it, we've done all of what we needed here. So now I just have a body tag here, which of course is going to center my heading here, Eden sort, a home for your sorts. I'm going to change this to Taskly. A home for your tasks. There we go. And of course, I just have a button here for register. So if I go back, okay, you can see, okay, that looks fine. So we can now see that we have a little bit more styling here. Okay, so there we go. So we can see this looks okay, but it doesn't look great. So I'm thinking to change the style here. So let's see something that's a bit more appropriate. Let's go with, so of course you can decide which one you prefer. Okay, this one was good for me before. So let's open this. So it's very simple here to change your theme. So you can just go ahead, copy the URL. And then of course in a link tag here, we can just replace that. So let's see if that is an improvement. See, maybe this is better. Okay, that looks a lot better actually. Just this blue here, I can maybe make that smaller. Maybe that makes it a bit better. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that looks a lot better now. So of course you can play around through Bootstrap with what theme that you'd like. Okay, so this is great. So this is of course our index.html. And what we can do is we want to make these buttons work. So register and login, we want to make these work. Now that's very simple. Okay, we just need to alter our href properties here. Okay, so this some Django here at least. So here I'm just going to add the usual, so static URL, and oh, sorry, not static. We're just going to say URL, and then we need to link it. So let's set that. And we need to go in, right. So remember our route was register. So if you just want to double check here, we'll go to do, look at our URLs and see our routes here. So we have register, that's the route. Login would be called my login. Dashboard would be dashboard. And home will be empty. Okay, so that's just a refresh there if you're wondering what the routes are. So you'll set these, of course, here. But of course, make sure you just name it the same here under your name parameters value here. So I usually set them the same so I don't get confused here with the URLs. So I can just take this here and paste it by the href here and just switch it to my login. Great, and I can scroll down and I have another href here where I can just say register. Okay, so that's that part done. So we now have all of our links set and ready. So if I refresh and I go to register, it will take me here. If I go to register, it will take me to register. If I go to login, it will go to my login. Now we want to style this now, so it's going to be very simple to what we're going to do. We simply just have to open those templates, so we can do it for dashboard as well. We can have dashboard, we can have, what is it, my login and register. So let's move these all together like so. Okay, I'm going to put them in order here. And all I need to do is I need to go ahead and just pass in that link. So I'm just going to actually take this whole header tag here so we can make this HTML a bit cleaner. So I'm just going to add that here. Okay, so of course you can just go with the flow. I'm also going to add a HTML here so it looks a bit cleaner as well. And just change this up just a little bit. There we go. So I'm just going to, of course, also integrate styles.css as well. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to my login. So the same thing here. So this is just, of course, the usual here. So you can, of course, skip ahead in the video here or whichever way you'd like. So I'm just here, just going to add some HTML, copy the heading tag. Okay, that's fine. And then we'll do it one more for dashboard. Very simple, like so. And like that. Okay. Okay, and you're probably wondering about the base HTML. Why don't we reuse? I mean, we can, and we will do that specifically when it comes to the nav bar, because we don't want to constantly do everything again with the nav bar. Right, so one more thing we need to do. We need to load static to enable our styles, CSS styles to be usable. So we can just add that at the top of our HTML files like so. So I'm just going to add them all at the top here. So just be sure to add that, or else the code will break. Okay, so I'll also okay, so I'm just going to fix the HTML header tag here. Okay, that's all great. So the most important part, make sure that you have load static on all your HTML templates like I have here. And also make sure that you have your boot swatch or Bootstrap theme here above your CSS styles, or else in some cases I've seen it doesn't work. So just be sure to do that. So we should now technically see this Bootstrap theme on all of our HTML templates. So let's give that a check. Okay, so we have register here. That doesn't look so great. Okay, we have login. Okay, let's try dashboard as well. So we can do that. So don't worry, we will take care of this. And dashboard. Great, okay. So everything is set to what we were expecting. Okay, so make sure that you add that. Now, what we're going to do next is we just want to clean this up a little bit. So we can see here this register page doesn't look great. We just want to fix this up a little bit. So what we're going to do, I just want to close everything here. Okay, we need to, of course, add a container, and then we're going to add some properties to that container. So let me show you. All right, so just one more thing before we get to that. I just want to remove some spaces here so this looks a bit cleaner. So we can go ahead and just open our templates up. So just remove this line. So of course, just follow on and just clean the code as you wish. As we go. Okay, great. Now let's see what the problem is. So our home page here is perfectly fine. Let's go to register. Okay, this doesn't look great. So I want to edit this up a bit. So what I'm going to do is here where it says this is our registration page, what I'm going to do is just above this, I'm going to create sort of like a div here. So it's some HTML that I will show you. Okay, so we can just simply say div class container. So we're going to create a container around our form here. So we're going to add some Bootstrap as well. So BG white. So the background I'm going to set to white. Okay, and then I'm going to add a shadow that's small here. So actually medium, a medium shadow. The padding here I'm going to set to 5, and just like that for now. So you must of course play around with this whichever way that you prefer. Okay, let's see if there's an improvement. Great. Okay, so there is a bit of an improvement, which is good. Right, great. Okay, so what we can also do is we can go ahead and just add this container here to our login as well. So I'm just going to put it above here. Okay, and here. And I'm going to just indent our code a bit. So let's go to login to see that change. So let's go to login. Okay, so there's a bit of a change here. That's great. Okay, we can also do that to our dashboard, and the dashboard will have the same sort of effect. So we can do that there as well. So at least we have a bit of a change. Okay, great. Let's go to dashboard so we can log in and see how that looks. Okay, great. Okay, so this is getting much better. Okay, all right, so let's go back. And okay, so it is an improvement, but you know, the theme is good, but the background is not quite happening for us. So what I want us to do, instead of manually creating CSS, we just want to play around with the Bootstrap theme and look for something that really works for us. So you can choose what works for you, or you can actually go ahead and add some CSS to make it better for you, if you prefer it that way. So I'm just going to try to do some trial and error here just to see which one is better, of course. Okay, this looks okay. Okay, it doesn't look so great here. Okay, let's see what else we have. So of course you must decide what you feel is the right one. Okay, I'm just going to open a few here until we get the right one here. Okay, so let's see. So if this does take... Okay, this looks promising. I just want to test it on register. Okay, if I can't get one just now, I might pause the video, so I don't want to waste your time seeing me choose one here. Okay, this will do actually. Okay, this will do. Okay, so decide on your Bootstrap theme. Choose one that's perfect for you. So this one seems okay. So I'm just going to, of course, add that to wherever I've defined it. So I'm going to add it where I see it. And like so. Great. Okay. Okay. So we can edit the rest with some CSS. That's not a problem. That's very simple to yeah, that's good. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So that looks a little bit better. Okay, so decide on what you'd like to do. And like I said, don't worry, I will attach some code. The code that I'll add will be just for the index.html markup, just for this one HTML page. Okay, the rest I did go through with you, and literally it's just a few lines that you'll need to reuse. If you can get this one working fine, then the rest here will be very simple because there's barely any lines of code. Okay, so I just want to keep it very simple there. Okay, so now we're just going to edit a little bit. So we can go to register, and I just want to fix this up actually. So register, okay, we can add just a bit of a breaking point. Okay, that's fine. This is obviously going to be the same everywhere. So we can just go ahead and put it under our base. For dashboard, under base. And in the meantime, we can take away base.html. Actually, we can keep it there, actually. We can keep it. Okay, that's fine. Let's try my login. Okay, let's see how that's looking. Yeah, it's great. That's looking all right. Okay, great. Now, we'll notice that this is way too wide. We just want to make this a bit, you know, look a bit more professional here. And we'll also need to change this as well. So while we're on register, we can do just that. So I'm just going to edit that up a bit. There we go. Add some space below the headings as well. So that's important to do. Okay, and dashboard. Okay, and I'm going to change the headings to H3 because the H3 tags look more appropriate. So of course you can follow ahead as you go. Let's just change these just to make it look better. Okay, that looks a little bit better. We can also go ahead and add a line underneath. If it sees it. Yeah, it does. That's great. So H3, great. We will, of course, do more edits as well throughout, so don't worry. This will look cleaner. So it's okay. My login. Okay, that looks okay actually. Now we can edit it a little bit more. We can now go ahead and now just clean up a little bit, so we can make this a container here a little bit smaller. So what we can actually do is we can go ahead to, let's start off with register, and we can actually just do some inline CSS here actually. So we can just say, actually let's do it in CSS. That's a better way. So open that up, and we're just going to go ahead and change the border radius. So I'm just going to define a property here. So we can just create a class attribute. So here I'm just going to say .form layout because this is for our forms. And I'm just going to add a property. So I'm going to say border radius, and I'm going to say 10 pixels, and the width is around 1,000 at the moment with default Bootstrap as far as I'm aware. So let's half it to 500 pixels. Okay, now we just need to add this attribute to, of course, all of our classes here. So I'm going to add it here, form layout. My login, form layout. Dashboard, form layout. Okay, so this should clean it up a bit. If I refresh, there we go. So that looks a bit cleaner, and this will be applied, of course, everywhere. Now what I can do is I can see I have a space at the bottom, and this will be for a lot of pages, so I can just add a breaking point at the end of the, yeah, just at the after the container. So let's do that. Let's see. I'm on dashboard, that's why. So let's just add that after our container here. Okay, there we go. So now we have a bit of a space here to breathe, and we can add these. We can of course add this to, after our container here. So we can now add that after login as well. My dashboard. That's perfectly good. So if we go to register, login, okay, that looks cleaner. Okay, but this still is not looking great. We can still update and clean this a little bit more. So we can go ahead. All right, so I just want to close these up here. And what we're going to do is we are going to install a package called Django Crispy Forms, okay? And the main purpose of this is we want to make use of Django's, you could say you can import here a crispy template pack with Bootstrap 4. So this will make, for example, if we go to register, all of our forms here, you could say our inputs here, look a lot cleaner and a lot better. So we want to go ahead and do that. So first of all, let's close this up. We can go to our terminal, make sure that you're in your virtual environment. This is very important. And we're going to run the following command, pip install Django Crispy Forms, just like so. Okay, let's install that. All right, there we go, great. And we can just run our server again, of course. We can put it back on. Okay, great, so let's refresh, and there we go. Okay, now we need to configure this, so we can head over to settings.py here. So just make sure you go to taskly, settings.py, and just below installed apps, okay, we want to just go ahead and install a template pack. So we just need to set it. So crispy template pack, which we need to set to Bootstrap 4. Great. And in installed apps, we did install the app technically, and that was Crispy Forms. So we can just simply say Crispy Forms here. Great. All right, so we can now close this up. So we're going to actually load this tag in. Let's close what we don't need. Okay, restructure as you see it. So here I've registered my login dashboard, great. And we need to now load a tag. So the tag that I'm going to load will be like this. So it will be load, and then I'm just going to go ahead and say load crispy. Ooh. Let's put it here, crispy forms tags. Like so. So we're going to import this tag here, and we just want to assign it here. So as we have here, from.asp, so we can remove the asp now and put the following symbol in and say crispy. And we can do the same for my login and dashboard as well. So our forms are a lot cleaner now, so it looks a lot better. So I'm just going to say crispy here. Okay, just add that there, like so. Okay, so if we actually test this, let's refresh, go to register, you'll see this looks a lot cleaner. It's not the best, but it looks a lot better. So you can see here, it's looking a lot cleaner, of course. Okay, our submit button. Okay, let's clean up our submit button actually. So we have it here. First, we just want to add some space to it. Okay, let's actually go back. Okay, our submit button's not having, it's on my login, that's why. Let's add it here. And there we go. Now what we can do is we can add a little bit of coloring to our submit button. So we can actually go to index, and I have one already made here. Okay, so I'm going to replace that submit button with one of my custom ones here. So you can take a look here. Of course, this is just a primary button tag here with a nav bar button, and it has a link here, but we will remove what we don't need. So I'm going to copy that and replace it here with submit. And let's see what I can change here. So I can just take this class here and just replace it. And let's see the impact. Okay, so that looks better. We can take register away now. And the good thing is we can take this and move it over to my login. So the login button now will look a lot cleaner as well. Okay, great. If we refresh, yep, that looks a lot better. So you can see here our registration page looks a lot better. We can also change register here to say registration page. And my login, we can just say login. Right, so let's just make sure that we just fix this up here. So I just want to take away this. Great, or else it won't work. So make sure to remove the .as_p. So we added a lot of styling so far. So let's see how everything's looking. So this page looks fine. Register is okay. And login is, yeah, it's a lot better. So we can see this is a lot cleaner. It's not as bad, and it looks at least decent. So we can, of course, just remove the breakpoints as we need to suit it to how we would like this to work and how we would like it to function. Okay, let's now actually test our dashboard. So let's see how that looks. Okay, now we can see the validation is also great. That's good. Okay, so this BR tag is out of scope. We didn't need that actually. And there we go. So we can see it's looking really, really nice. We can also add a button for log out if we would like, but we can just leave it as it is. But we can see here what we basically have done for the first part of our project was just add some styling. So later on in the next lessons, we don't need to really worry about this styling. We can just simply copy and paste what we have here. And yeah, that's it. So I know this wasn't the greatest of videos, but it was just to give you an idea of what we were doing. So you can decide to follow the styling as you wish, or choose your own. But yeah, that's pretty much what the focus was on. So what I said I'll do, I will be sure to add default code here just for this HTML page for index, only this one. Not with the, for example, the links and everything, just a baseline, because everything else, of course, is covered in the video, and you can just simply, yeah, just add necessary changes. So there really isn't much to really change, just a few things here and there. Okay, so yeah, that is it. And yeah, I hope it was helpful to you. So yeah, I'll see you in the next part where we'll specifically focus on lots of Django. I know this part was more HTML, CSS, and a bit of copying and pasting, but yeah, I just wanted to at least give you a general idea so you at least know where to go. So basically part one is just styling, and you can style as you wish. Okay, so that's it.